Okay, welcome back. Hope you're having a nice day. Today is fully asynchronous. I've already provided instructions on Google Classroom about what the expectations are for today. Please make sure that you spend roughly around 15 minutes to read the article about creativity. And kind of jumping off of that point, I wanted to discuss, because the article discusses a little bit about perspective and the use of creativity and how we view creativity in varying societies, or the artist, and the significance, use, and value of creativity. Um, I wanted to sort of pinpoint and discuss a little bit about how it applies to this course. Um, we have, in a lot of ways, discussed the significance need for perspective when we are talking about various topics, because there's obviously, in addition to the authorship of any given text, there's also the readership. And we've learned a lot about resistant readers, and we've talked a little bit about passive readers. But when we are producing creative work, there is a significant need to be able to learn about topics from varying perspectives. Just like how you guys write about argumentation, and you consider the fact that when you put an argument out there, there are various communities that have already discussed those points at length, and there are varying viewpoints on that particular topic or theme or idea. And that goes ahead and that deals with creativity as well, and your contribution to society, and trying to make meaning or share ideas or educate or persuade people. Um, but the one thing, that really interesting point about that article, is that it talks a little bit about how, and again, I sort of, the article sort of generalizes a little bit here, but culturally speaking, the way um, creativity is viewed in varying societies based on culture and rituals and practices and whatnot, and again, how we view creativity or um, artisthood, I guess you could say, is, in more Western hemispheres, we sort of look at creativity and value it based on its sense of originality, versus more Eastern, again, quotations, view it more as a sense of usefulness. And I think both are important, especially when we're learning about creativity, because in addition to the very people who think like this, it's also kind of important for us to see those perspectives and understand those, in when we produce our own works, um, and understand that what society prioritizes in terms of creativity, or what cultural norms are reinforced based on the viewpoints of creativity, um, or how societies approach the concept of creativity as a thing itself, very much reinforces our simulacrum, basically our livelihood, or at least the representations of our livelihood in our lives, how we see things. Um, so I pulled this painting, for example, from Tetsuya Ishida, who's a Japanese author, and he deals a lot actually with students, Japanese students, young adults, and this is a three-dimensional piece right here. If you were to kind of push this part out, for example, and you're just looking at this, you sort of see a student who has sort of been lodged into, um, like sort of underneath of boxes and shoes and all the kind of the lively positions that they possess, and sort of it's almost kind of like a weight in a lot of respects. And then when you sort of open up the painting a little bit more, and you see this other perspective of the ladder, you realize that this is a bed, and this is the livelihood of this person. So it gives on sort of this new meaning about what we value and how we operate in society. I think it's a really fascinating painting. So brings me now to our creative writing pieces. Rational writing, just a reminder that it will be due for the next class, February 2nd and 3rd. And I really enjoyed this quote from the University of Melbourne. A more specific or focused way of thinking about a rationale is how we can overtly show we are justifying our choices with the language we use, which is something that we have gone far in depth with in this entire course, really. But just kind of a reminder that, in addition to making a statement, and once you have understood the varying perspectives on your given topic or theme. And I'm encouraging you guys to pick topics that are of interest to you, right? Something that you can see as being both maybe a statement that can be original but also something that's useful, that you can really kind of communicate an idea across to a wide variety of different audiences. And also consider the different audiences of your text. But rationale is a couple of different things. It's an articulation of meaning of a text, so being specific about what it is that your intentions are as an author in the piece itself, an exploration of the nuances of expression within a text, and then finally the examination, explanation of an intention, So in addition to putting out a statement and saying this is what my rationale is, and this is a particular topic, and this is the text type that I'm using to communicate that particular idea, being able to discuss the mechanics within the text itself. So, talking about the use of language, which is right here. In doing so, considering the fact that, again, you are providing a particular topic or idea, there are different people who are going to be looking at this and having different discussions about your given topic. So, again, really emphasizing perspective. Do a little research. Take a minute today to just kind of go on the internet and sort of look at like what other communities have been discussing about your given topic. A couple other pieces out here. I'll let you guys go ahead and read this. And if you have questions, you're welcome to jump on Zoom. Something that I have actually been kind of gravitating to quite a bit, because a family member is working at a government agency with communities that identify with disabilities. Something I've been learning quite a little bit about, and also the representations of these communities in media during COVID-19 and the pandemic in general. And so that's something that, again, I'm sort of passionate about, and I've been doing a lot of research on that, and just kind of wrote up sort of a theoretical, rational writing piece, kind of a first paragraph, if you will, of what could be a potential rationale piece. The intention of the creative piece, a blog written from the perspective of someone passionate about disabilities government aid work, is to showcase the negative cultural stigmas associated with being disabled and intersections between communities that identify with different gender identities. The blog addresses the COVID-19 epidemic, although not a catalyst, as being a point of tension for identities and communities associated with disability, and pushback from media outlets over the receiving of additional funds and aid from government agencies. Through communication of linguistic and stylistic choices such as modality, diction, apostrophe, anaphora, as well as the use of logos, the didactic blog sets out to challenge cultural stigmas aligned with normalcy and the means in which disability is represented in certain media outlets, and highlighting an example of prejudice and cultural presupposition during COVID-19, considering the literary theory of disabilities criticism. Right, quite a bit here, but as you can see, that it really does kind of hit on quite a few of the things that I highlighted in the slide previous to this one. And I am making reference to, although not criticizing my particular blog per se, I am thinking about how I am looking at different media sources during COVID-19 and how there's sort of a misrepresentation of various communities that identify with disabilities. This is actually a relatively new literary theory. You're welcome to go ahead and check this out. This is a really fascinating one. And that is about it for me. So if you, again, have questions, go ahead and feel free to jump on Zoom. And otherwise, have a wonderful day.